Welcome to another episode of Angels, Positivity and Love. Incredible guests worldwide, 25 countries now, with amazing insights. They've been through some sort of transformative journey quite often. It could be a near-death experience, just becoming a healer, more formal. We've had a White House physician to the US president, who is also a Rear Admiral, US Navy retired. We've got other physicians, psychologists, therapists, and so on, but healers with about 25 modalities. And international best-selling authors. We've had one Super Soul Sunday guest with Oprah, and it goes on and on and on. We're very fortunate. We're a very small show, although we do have a 520-something thousand visits to the channel. We're still a tiny show with a really big guest footprint, and we're also graced by guests that will come back on the show. This is one of those guests today coming to us from Western Canada. She's phenomenal. I'm having her back on every 6 months if she'll let me. It's Dr. Manon Bolliger. She's a deregistered, very important that I say this for Canada, the government of Canada. She's a deregistered and now retired board certified naturopathic physician with 30 plus years of experience. She's already been on the show, episode 31, back when we got started in 2023. That was the August 20th, 2023 episode. You're seeing her now for episode 238 in June of 2025. And you'll see her again in some other formats on this channel. I just want to say a word about her. She's wide open, super intuitive, whatever you want to call it, just connected to the universe. That means listening, feeling, and seeing. She's a lot of fun, great laugh, lots of sparkle. And I'm just thankful to know her and to have her on the show. Manon, great to see you again. Bienvenue.
Wow, what an introduction. Thank you. And it's always a pleasure to just, be in your presence, chat, and see where it goes.
Well, with that, we are going to dive right into not serious stuff, and especially not galactic serious stuff just
Yeah.
yet. But I'm going to ask like a generic kind of spiritual question. Do you think there is a flooding of extra consciousness, awareness, light, if you want to call it that way, for mankind coming in, sort of a higher vibe, a general feeling of well-being in spite of all the details, whether it's Hollywood, Russia, Ukraine, somewhere else, the political landscape, and could be your country of Canada, America, or elsewhere, with all the hubbub going on, do you think there's something bigger happening that we should take heart about?
Absolutely.
Okay,
So,
but now you got to talk and tell us what you think that is. And
okay.
how do you know? So for somebody out there who's like just starting to realize that they have the ability to listen, be sensitive, kind of Marvel superhero powers in a way. Why do you think all those things are so popular as movies? What's this all about again?
Well, lots of ways of answering that question, but I think part of it is learning to listen. And I don't know if it comes through experiences in the past, what some people might call traumas or real awakenings or diseases that they can get through. But you become aware that there's something that animates not just you and your consciousness, but that you're connected in a much bigger way to the universe, to source, which is kind of interesting. I played around. Is it universe or is it source? They have different movements, but it's essentially the same thing. There's more. And what I've been feeling as when you look at what's going on in the world, and some of it honestly is like a movie. It probably is a movie because I've seen acting, whatever's the asking people to act certain roles. So we know that there's something going on, at least in politics. But there's also so much shift, I think cosmically, whether it's the sun, whether it's, the comets. I don't know. I'm not a big, I'm not researched in that area, but I can feel it. Like I now, and I know this is a phenomenon that many people feel, like a dizziness. You get up and whoa, like whew. It's almost as if we are getting some sort of upgrade, some change within to adapt to. That's how it feels to me. And I've, shared this with other people. It seems to be not an illness. It doesn't feel like that. It really feels like a shift, a profound change within ourselves. And it comes with a change of perception. So it's as if we were told we have five senses, and now we're realizing we actually have at least 10.
I can do the math.
So I think that's how I can explain it. It's a little woo-woo, but that's about the closest I can get to it.
Why don't I put up an angel named Joy and have her add a couple sentences on this for you to listen to her to relay to us what you hear? This will add an extra reinforcing dimension to it. No pun intended. What's Joy got for us on that front?
Yeah, welcome to reality.
And I'll put up a Charlotte, who's everybody's favorite school teacher from childhood with words meant to help you expand. Third form, if you're in Canada, Mrs. Wilson, not Mrs. Johansson, who got you in trouble, the nice one. Here's Charlotte. She'll have another take on it as well. And what'd she say?
She just says allow.
Look, from what I'm hearing, this is just in the works. There's nothing anybody has to do. There's nothing to gain, nothing to lose. It's not the societal thinking thing, your externals. It's not your checking account. It's not the stress you have at work or just turning on the TV, blah, 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 blah. It's something just beyond, as if you're like going for a nice walk and enjoying nature. It's something so subtle or not so subtle. One more angel, and we're going to get you talking again about this. We'll circle around on it. This is an angel named Min, who's light waves of energy and water. Pacific Princess, Mother Hawaii, if you wish. Catch Hawaii in the air if you want at your end and just say you got a little ocean. I know it's crazy. I'm going to blow up towards my microphone. Catch a little Hawaii. I didn't do it. Blame angels. Don't blame Canada. And what's Min saying about this whole thing for mankind right now?
Mm. That to relate to it, one way to start is understanding the impact that hugging a tree or nature has. So, which is true, we forget, but when you take your shoes off and you walk on the grass and you ground and you pull up electrons, your physiology changes, right? So when we hug a tree, it's also different. So I think it's that it's being aware of the little things that we mostly have taken for granted.
And I have one more figure on this front. It'll probably be Einstein unless I get hijacked on the way. Carl Jung beat me. So here's Carl Jung for you to weigh in on what's this whole shish kebab called that's happening for man right now. He's got terminology for it, but he might be just funny and very short and concise. What did he say?
Yeah. He says, don't make a theory about it, just experience it.
Okay, and so I'm going to try to repackage it as there's just something mankind, look, does not get any points for all the war and the destruction and the judging. I mean, I've done tons of judging. I do judging on myself, others. I'm getting right back to it an hour and a half from now. And welcome to being human. Your thinking's not going away, but holy cow, have we left a wake of just structure, too much order, control, attempting control, when there's so much more love. Everyone has a ginormous heart. Almost everybody. I mean, they do. And if they wanted to, they could use it more. So welcome to being human. Welcome to the opportunity for growth and expansion. Now you get the chance to keep running with it. What are we looking forward to here, Manon? What's this all about again?
You mean the what's coming up for us?
Yeah.
I think it's a way of getting back and on some level to basics and also access to technologies that have been hidden from us for, decades. So I feel like it's a combination. We're going to be wowed on both ends, but we're going to need to stay very focused to cleaning up our food source, because it's contaminated, cleaning up our skies because those clouds aren't real. It's like I saw this thing. When's the last time I've seen a cloud like I used to when I was young, and there's so much, geoengineering, and it's, admitted, and it's clear it's happening. It's not a story. I wish it was, but it isn't.
It was too. And it's hard with the whole, we have these next gen radar things, and it's a long story. We could spend hours on it talking about it. And look, if humans are given the opportunity like they've had for 80 years on weather manipulation or technology that has crashed from the sky and you've exploited it after 50 years of attempted R&D, you finally get to do something with it. Do you know
Mhm.
any human scientists that, well, some will turn away and for moral purposes, they'll be like, no, I don't want to be a part of that. I got better things to do with my time. But humans have tinkered with everything for better and for worse on every front. We mess things
Yeah.
up like more than we get things right.
Well, I also think it depends who governs it and who profits from it. I do believe that we have an unhealthy financial structure where essentially we're enslaved willingly, but through a lot of education and propaganda. So I think we've allowed ourselves to lose our sovereignty and to disconnect from our actual power that we all have. And I think this transition is all about regaining our sovereignty, realizing we're not missing anything. We just need to be ourselves and speak up. There's no tyranny that goes away with acquiescence. You got to call it what it is, and we've given it a lot of power. And I think if we consciously focused on what we want to create, what we love, what type of human beings we want to be, and we focus on that, I think that these dark, you know, powers of control that think they're so big are actually not that big. And I think too, with the economy, when you have money that can pay for anything, or you steal, it's not steal, it's within the system, you pay your taxes to be taken out of the country and spent on creating excuses for a badly managed economy, which has been going on for years. It's not a political situation here, but it's a reality. I think when we start realizing that these are not the structures we need, that they're not useful to us, well, we can play outside of that. And we need to start thinking, and so many people are. So I'm not teaching something new. This
I
is
don't think we're talking about anything new, and I think we've done a really good job of very lightly touching on some of those topics because there's entire channels dedicated to it. Technically, in the complaining, there's negativity about the negativity, and you're just resisting what already is. And so we keep a lighter focus here. Let's bring in three angels again to repackage for us, and let's go to the heart of the matter. With the universe, you simply have to tell the universe, like, hey, I'm here. Help me out, walk a smoother path, breathe easier, have more fun. But let's ask an angel about that and have you do the listening for us. What's Joy say all mankind has to do is?
I'm hearing go back to the innocence of childhood. So the innocence of I think it's play and creation. If I were to go deeper in that, it's which is actually what our strength is, and that's where our resilience is, and that's where everything that we create comes from, is when we connect to that in a playful way. So without that seriousness of belief systems or thoughts, I mean, they all have their roles, but it's that real authentic, just having fun and loving life. And then love flourishes in those circumstances because we're not stopping it in any which way.
And while you were asking that or listening to her, I heard look up to the sky, allow more, love more, and just be
Oh,
parallel to what you heard. Then I've got another quote from an angel named Dale, who coached an Olympic athlete from the 70s or 80s who won a lot of golds. Leave that anonymous. It was a complex situation, though. Uh, An angel named Dale said, just be, and all things can be yours. Create, dream, imagine, and bring it forward, which is exactly what I think you were just saying.
Mm.
Charlotte, what's her 2 cents on this? And if you can keep going with it, with what Charlotte says.
Mm. No, I didn't get it yet.
Well, I
Sorry.
didn't do it. Okay, hold on.
Sometimes I'm a bit slow on the uptake. Yeah, okay. So what she is saying is really about be and as opposed to do. And we need both, right? We need to do things. But if we could focus on being who we are, the doing that comes from being is is loving in its nature because if we are focused on being ourselves, loving how we are, how we're relating in this world, it's a hard focused energy compared to the focus, which sometimes, is required. You have a plan, you got to do it, etc. But I think we overemphasize the mind. The thoughts and mind are useful, there's no doubt. But what do you want to achieve? Is it in part the journey you're on, which is a being journey? If you get there, but all you've done is, swear at everyone because you don't have enough time and you have to go there first and you have to have road rage and you have to eat fast food and you don't have time for your family and this is your road and you've made it, you're successful. What did you get? Nothing, like in a sense, it's doing without without actually incorporating it on a heart and soul level. You may get somewhere, but is it really the most is it really where you want to be? That's
Well,
the question anyway.
I love how you
That's
said that. Doing by being, the heart being by doing, the brain. I mean, it's Shakespeare, to be or not to be. That's the ultimate question. And then another way to do it is this is thinking or the mind. And then this is being in the heart. And there's a huge difference. And even India, we could keep going with a million of these examples, but I got a classic quote from India that you'll know. A mind that is fast is sick. A mind that is slow is sound. A mind that is still is divine. And
Hmm.
I'll add a Zen pun to that to try to make those who know this pun laugh. Is that so? So, like anything on the external that happens, there's all those stories. The old man says, "Is that so?" No reaction, just action, just be. Okay, I'm going to put up Sri Shirdi Sai Baba for you from India, the one from 100 plus years ago. Catch an Indian temple incense. You may already start to get it as if you've got the highest vibrations of India around you now, the jungles of India, if you want to hear a roar of a tiger. But let him add what mankind is receiving.
Hmm.
And he's lovely. I got to mention, he's Mr. Miracles. He straddles three religions. He can move, wink, smile, shoulder waggle in this photo. We know static photos can't move, but sorry, no limits is no limits. Let him move. Audrey Hepburn's photo, go find that on my website. Same deal. She'll wink, smile, eyebrow goes up. She's an angel. She's wonderful. Catch an uninvented perfume from Paris. What's Sai Baba have for you, Minal?
Hmm. Yeah, a word I'm maybe not familiar with as much. The grace. And I'm thinking grace. What is grace? And what does he mean? Because I guess I've associated that to, maybe wrongly so, but to Christian religion. But maybe it's grace is more to do with gratitude. You know, I don't know what grace is. Let's talk about it.
Well, I've got four archangels and an angel named Rebecca to answer that for you. And I'll take a stab. I'll call it that wiggle room or room for maneuver or space for breathing and allowing more so you feel even more at peace. Uh,
Oh, very
yeah,
good.
extra
Mhm.
wide wavelength. But here's four archangels for you: Gabriel, Michael, Raphael, Uriel in light energy form. They'll handle this one in a cinch and a pinch. Oh, and close your eyes and catch an entire symphony of grace coming in so that you're not only going at the word level, breathe through the mouth if you need help at home to open it up and feel more as it comes through you. You'll get a ripple of light. Remember, none of this is about word structures. Don't listen to me or this show, but do subscribe, like, share, comment, and make sure somebody you know sees this show. We're a super small audience, but we do something no other shows do, which is direct experiences with the universe. You can participate in any of this. You should. And I did not say that. So set your intent, ask angels to get you out of your head, into your heart, out of thinking, into your heart, and experience a little bit of all this. Manon, what did you get from the four archangels?
Okay, this is another one interesting. Sound surround. So what I'm getting from that, though, is because, again, what is sound surround? Um, it's the quality of the being experience.
Oh, I love this. Talk a little bit more about that because that's a really important point. There's just like listening to your music, and then there's the sound surround. It's a whole different thing.
Right. And I was thinking, I remember when my partner was listening through what I called a tin box, and it's just like, stop it. And it's not called music. I can't handle the frequency. It's just like, I rather have no sound than bad sound, but sound surround is quite an experience. If you're in tune with the music, or especially the frequency, if it's a frequency your body likes and relates to,
Mhm.
I think it's a very supportive, so I'm thinking the wiggle room, which I relate to in your statement. I think it it gives you more space. So almost more space, i.e., more time.
A greater ability to cultivate your consciousness, your awareness in the moment to interact at a broader, higher level with what already is in and around you. I went complex on that one, but it works. I'm going
Mm.
to put up a couple photos of Joy and Charlotte. Here you've got this. We're doing a totally different type of show today. This is good. And I've got a kitty cat named Presley, named after an angel who's the interconnectedness of all showing up back there. She wrote in on Elvis Presley movies, and I'm not a huge fan of Elvis Presley movies. I'm not a fan. I love movies though, and she said, "Just call me Presley, this angel," and I named my cat after her. I'm going to show you some light on a background. My light. Audience members at home can just be in their heart. Put a hand on your heart if you need extra help. Ask angels to get you out of your head into your heart. You need to play pickleball tomorrow. Ask Joy, an angel, to jump into your arm and hit a winner. Why not? If you don't ask, you don't get. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. But here's something from Joy and Charlotte about how we're going to take seeing light into the broader context of what we've just been talking about up to here. Because none of this is about word structure, what's going on in Hollywood, Ukraine, how we've spent somehow in America $35 trillion for a national debt, and all this other stuff. It's not about what we get fixed on all over again in judging some other situation. We start judging all over again. We do more of the same energy. This is about busting out of that paradigm and just being a little more heart centric, a little more humor, love, and joy. Hear from Joy and Charlotte something about, I'll put my hands up, ask for all the grace and love in the world, feel an extra whoosh, like getting water down your back. Thumbs up. You're wonderful. Thank you for doing this. I'm going to tell one more dad joke. I'll put my fingers up. You'll see my light. You don't have to show us yours. Um, Here we go. And what's the only flower found on the human face? Tulips. See the force from Star Wars, a little filament of light between my fingers. Is it pink, gold, yellow, 15 colors at once? What do you see?
Um, white and a yellow tinge on the outside.
Good. Now ask the universe to come in. Joy, Charlotte, 100 other angels, your crew, everybody's, and have them do something extraordinarily different, like a tulip, flowers, butterfly, a vortex of light, sparks, something that you know is not my flow. Somebody saw an angel the other day. Two people saw phoenixes. Somebody saw this object. Somebody saw a hummingbird. What are you getting for something extra that we know is not Mike Ford?
Okay. So I got a like a balloon bubble that kind of bust the rotating energies.
Almost like a glass blown bubble, maybe, or a bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Hey, brilliant. I'm gonna put up an angel named Heather and a Claire who's I had to cheat and look, resilient. She's one of my dog's guardian angels. Here's something amazing from these two. Get a compliment, get a bravo, and have them say something that's sort of like a cue card. You're an actor on the round stage in London, but instead of a Shakespearean line, they'll give you the next cue or prompt into the next chapter of what we're talking about in sequence here. Heather, I've seen as a human in Stockholm, Hawaii, Vegas, Austin, New York. I'm skipping a place, but it doesn't matter. They could show up in full human form. Why not if the universe is that big? But Manon, where are we headed with all this? Why do we care? Is mankind ready for a change out of rat race mode up here? A little less thinking. We're talking 7% less daily. What's this all about again?
Well, I got first power, and I thought this is not right because we have way too much power structures. And then it was like, no, no, inner power. And okay, okay. So I think it's about the true self-discovery that is not based on trauma, that is not based on sort of the psychological model that everything we do is sort of a reaction to a childhood wound of sorts, or a lot of it is that we have this unconsciousness at play that unless we become conscious or super conscious, we can't see it, and therefore we cannot guide ourselves out of this automatic unconscious safety net, which really defeats us. So what I'm seeing is that it's not that the unconscious goes away, but the unconscious is almost less, we're more conscious of the unconscious. I don't know how to say. We're actually more in conscious, which is self-conscious, which is more ego-based as it's our decision to live life grander, better, whatever, all of this business. With the superconscious, which is just in there for having an experience. And it doesn't matter what it is. So we're more becoming that super conscious power. And that is really what moves us. So we're sort of moving out of that paradigm of the three memories, which I don't know if you know Chris Duncan, he talks about this beautifully, but not about what I'm saying, but the three consciousness. And and I think that's what we've moved away from that as our paradigm into superconscious and what we may not know yet.
I love this. So it's like gently kicking and gently requesting that the ego get out of the driver's seat of the vehicle and get into the back seat where it's putting a seatbelt on and staying contained. You get to drive your own vehicle now and have a lot of fun and go in any direction you want in life. There are two global slipstreams going on: unconsciousness and love. Love is a complete constant. Just open your eyes, define love. If you think I said this, no, it was Big Mary like 10 years ago. But so love's a constant, love is everywhere. Open your eyes to find love. I'll say it a different way. You can be happy now in this very moment without a single reason. Good luck with either of those. You got better things to do, bills to pay. You got 16 health issues. You're on your fifth divorce in 5 weeks. You're that unlucky. Think about it this way. You got a lot going on. That's the usual, but nothing like any part of your life that you thought it was the top of your game, or you were having the most fun, or you were the happiest, it never went away. It's not conditional. It's not in the past or the future. It's always been right here, right now. You do have to get out of this into this. I'm going to put up Michael and a Rebecca, an angel who's from really far out some galaxy where like music was invented. But angel today, just unconditional love, no interference. Why would anybody want to tell anyone anything that would be interfering when you're doing great on your own, learning all you wish, anytime you wish to pay attention? Here's Michael and a Rebecca. And what do they have for us to follow this rabbit trail that we're on?
Mm, interesting. So I'm getting about service. It's about service, but it's redefining what that is. So it's not about servitude and it's not about obligation. It's really service, service from the heart, service, um, maybe guided service as well. Being at service to something that feels bigger than oneself. It's paying attention to that. And then I had a little something about to healthcare practitioners. Um, yeah, there are bigger rules than the oath you take. I mean, that should be big enough, and most people didn't pay attention to it.
Yeah, the medical industry, without getting into it anymore, is gotten entirely kaput, blown up, and smoked as if it was the journalism industry, which no longer really exists. It's Substack. If you want
Exactly,
to find
exactly.
the Free Press, Barry Weiss might be the last publication minus 10 journalists out there. And I was doing media relations, public relations, getting paid $230,000 a year my last four and a quarter years in New York City doing global PR, a $1 billion law firm, loved doing the work, had happy people on one side, journalists that I never would have. I don't recognize the industry today. And this was, I think I ended it around 2009 and started around 1994, 95. I was 2 years on Wall Street. I do not recognize the industry today, but it's not something that just started to happen in the last 4 or 5 years. I can remember people complaining about the New York Times in 1998 and subscriptions starting to halt because they were doing less journalism and more, whatever you want to call it, boomeranging. And that's okay. Everyone's making their decisions and there's accountability to be had, whether you know it or not. You're still responsible for your choices. It's not up to us to tell anybody else how they're making their choices. That's the beauty of this lifetime for all of us. Let's
Yeah.
bring in a super fun figure for you. I think you get a choice here. Do you want Debbie Ford, Elvis, or Anthony Bourdain? Or,
Well, before that, I do want to just finish the point for
oh yeah,
service.
please, sorry, for service.
Yeah, because I think for healthcare practitioners who have possibly been jaded from what has happened as they are waking up to what has happened, it's like service is not gone. It's really, there was a desire in so many to do something huge and good for humanity. So it's not to, don't lose hope, is I guess the message I'm getting there. It's like you still have all of that within you. Just, it's like get more connected to it, more
Yeah.
into your sovereignty. I think that's the point I wanted to finish from my
Yeah, and I'm
message.
so sorry for interrupting that because that is such an important point. Mary Talley Bowden Houston is fighting such the good fight. She's the Mandela of Martin Luther King of the hospital industry, is the way I'd term it. And so instead of control administrative stuff where health for humans is put in the back seat for the name of control, profit, and so on, you have beautiful people standing up and speaking and being completely, what do you call it, retribution against for being the equivalent of a whistleblower. There's a lot of beautiful people standing up, speaking. And over time, if there was a free press, we would have already seen many more stories on this front. And it wouldn't be such a struggle over years to get out. It would have been a single story and everyone would have known, like in a month or two. It would have been no big deal, actually, although it would have been a big deal for a couple of months. Instead, this is a trickle out thing for years to come because God knows what's going on with this whole information control and flow or lack of. Let's bring in Audrey Hepburn to just lighten us up again. It's okay how it is, everything is working out and there's a greater purpose how it is, no matter how dire it looks in the hospital industry or anywhere else. Your Fruit Loops, by the way, in Canada are not the Fruit Loops we get in America. You are dye free compared to what we're being given, or in Europe, they're dye free as well. Again, not important, but what's Audrey have to say about these amazing times we live in? Catch an uninvented perfume from Paris while you're at it, so you start laughing hysterically. She can wink, smile, eyebrow goes up, shoulder waggle, and get a beautiful touch of her hand on your shoulder or small of your back. Feel rippling light, so it's almost hard to formulate the next thought, but she'll give you your cue and give us all a reminder how it doesn't matter how tight and tense and tough it looks or what other people are doing, it's still okay how it is.
Mhm.
And what has she got for us?
Well, she's playing on Cheerios, and, and she says, the word has it all, cheer, right? And I think it's the attitude in part in which you eat what you're eating. So yes, I'm not going to take anything away from what you said, chemicals and, why are we being poisoned? That's a good question to look at. But while you ate it, if you were cheerful and you enjoyed your life, there's so much more going on in the organism than just the chemicals that are coming in, right? It's like there is a balance that not balance. We have so much power within ourselves. So not to give up. So,
I love that because I still enjoy my Coca-Cola. It's the equivalent of a whiskey.
oh my God.
There's a lot of people who freak out that I say that, but I'm of the attitude that your body can kind of convert anything, even like Skittles, which I don't eat, but even Skittles will be fine for you. I know there's probably every dye color in there that everyone's talking about right now, and I've just committed an atrocity against the dietary industry somehow.
You
But
know,
yeah.
you haven't done enough childhood experiments with Coke or
Oh,
Pepsi.
yeah, you can take the rust off pennies within a couple days. Yeah.
Do a few things like that, and you might have a different relationship to it.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. But, to eat, everybody's going to have foibles. So what are you going to do?
Yes.
I looked
Yeah.
up Eos just in case for Cheerios, the end in Greek had some sort of interesting meaning, and it was the word violets, that in Greek. It's
Ooh,
the best I could do.
wow. Interesting.
Eos
Yeah.
is cheer and violets. But can you add another completely random? We've gone off track for 5 seconds. Is there a meaning to the violets that I'm missing, which is usually everything I'm missing? I mean, I'm drinking Coke. So
Just to make sure I'm hearing you, are you saying violence or violence?
violets,
Oh,
Violets, the flower.
the
Ancient
flower.
Greek
Okay.
word. Yeah.
I can go on about the violence, but violets, let me think. I wonder if it's the same etiology for violence.
Oh, okay. Well, now, yeah, we'll
Oh, we
keep.
don't have to go there.
No, we don't have to go there. Okay. I'm going to put up another photo for you, though, and we'll just let a figure jump out. Might be an unconditional love spirit guide. Here's Debbie Ford, and she's a loving guide, and she did wonders for us here when she was with us, and now she's on the other side. And what are you hearing from Debbie? She was all about shadow work and embracing all sides of oneself to let go what needs letting go and to bring in more light.
Hmm.
What'd you get from her?
Redefining dark side. What is that? Yeah. Huh.
Opportunity for growth. If you allow it to be a reminder, what that reminder is, it's up to you. And each time it pops up, it will keep popping up. What does all the turmoil remind you of? That's the most positive reminder that mankind's finally getting to just select its path in a much more global. Well, that wasn't the word global. Galactic, a broader cosmos sort of way.
Mhm. Well, I think it's like an accelerated time of uh, everything that is shocking, really, all together. And it may be what is necessary for people to go, what on earth are we living through here?
Yeah.
What did we choose this, And of course we did, because doing nothing about it, ignoring it, etc., are all choices, right?
Yeah.
But it's now time to look at this. People who, for example, have decided that they want to vote. Well, it's good to wake up to realizing that, according to lots of research and input, that maybe there's something wrong with the voting system. I mean, it's easier to vote if it's honest, right? So these are
We
all,
we just voted today in Texas, and I can say, how do I say this very carefully? So let's say you go to the voting machine and you put in a particular candidate, and when you're checking over the voting experience, before you've done the final cast your vote, the name flips to the absolute person you did not choose. That would have
yeah,
been the experience of someone around me today. They fixed it, but it's not something you want to necessarily speak out about. And there's a very interesting dynamic going on, which I think is affecting a lot of industries today. And again, what are you going to do about it? Do I personally make voting machines? No, I can only control what's about 2 feet around me, the clothes I wear and my thoughts that I carry. To quote Eat, Pray, Love, the India
yeah.
of the book. But
Mhm.
Manon, there's a lot going on. How do you take heart and know what's your highest vibe about all this? It's all okay as it is. Even our Cheerios or our Fruit Loops
Yeah.
voting because, and now Manon, this is your chance to shine. It's okay that the voting systems might not be perfect or Fruit Loops kill us because
Well, I think because everyone's waking up, that we're getting greater consciousness in a, sorry, in a concentrated way. So it just, it amplifies. It's like if you're alone seeing it and then you notice somebody else sees things, and you feel like two lunatics, no pun intended. But talking about something, whereas here we're, finally at the stage of um, noticing it just everywhere. It doesn't matter who you talk to, everyone's going, something's not right.
yep.
And that something feeling is what's really pushing us to how else could we have things, but
It's
not
like being in a B or C level movie that you realize is really cheesy. Whether you're the actor and you're filming the production, you're like, wow, or other. But I'll put up three angels for you to just how can we address the universe in private from the heart, daily or weekly if we get worried about this stuff. And here's Joy with a little quick suggestion on how you can just turn to the universe and be like, universe, help me walk a smoother path, not get caught up in the turmoil, and just be happier and shinier. What does she suggest a typical person can do during the week to
Mm,
ask the universe to intervene in a nice, gentle way?
mm. I think breathe, to just to stay, because in the moment, everything is perfect.
Mm. I love that. That's
You
exactly right. And if anybody needs reinforcement on that, Eckhart Tolle galore. Although, if you listen to the
Sure.
CDs, yeah, check out a live conference of his where he's speaking on stage, and then there's the Q&A section. You're going to get a hoot, as they say in Texas, or a kick out of the audience when some man or woman says, "At minute 15, you said this, and I take issue with this because I think it's that over there." And that is the best. Human thinking knows no restraint at all. We think everything to death. It's awesome.
And
Here's
he's so funny
oh,
too.
his little laugh. If you gave him a whiskey or a Coke and a cigar and he did stand up, he would probably kill it. But let's get away from violent language. Here's Charlotte. What's her reminder for us all about the universe? We're not alone. We're getting lots of help. You only have to ask for a little bit of an assistance. What's her recommendation for how you make that request?
She just says, ask and you shall receive. It's like,
And I will do 2 seconds. You're about to have a cup of tea. It can be like the movie Elf, the world's best cup of coffee at a cheesy diner. You know it's not the world's best cup of coffee, but with angels, cosmos, just ask the universe to get in here and help you have the best cup of tea. Could be a metaphor. It might not be the best mint tea you've ever had. You got it on sale and it's a little old. That's okay. It might be the moment we're talking about. As you sip the tea, you slow down and you have the equivalent of an ayahuasca trip without the ayahuasca. I'm kidding. Okay, here's Min, another angel. Light waves of energy and water. I had a doctor, a physician, episode 110, August 30th of 2024, Dr. Karen Wyatt, who shared a story about her. She's my guardian angel. She's Dr. Karen Wyatt's guardian angel. Probably 80,000 of us have her as a guardian angel. Another guest with 11 books out said she's Mother Hawaii. And so on that show, August of 2024, August 30th, she describes being in bed at 8, 9, 10 years of age, tucked in, and she sees a Hallmark angel all in white at the foot of her bed. Doesn't go running out the door like I would have, screaming. She knows from that moment on she wants to be a physician. And here she is later at medical school being asked with a group on their first day, why are you here? Why do you want to be a doctor? And she gave some amazing statement about love that on another planet would have been applauded. Instead, everyone recoiled and was like, oh my God, leper. And but she stuck with it, and for decades, doctors came to her because she had a very good presence. She describes it perfectly in the show. But here she is coming to us as a retired physician on a couple of fronts, and she got to meet this angel in human form for 30 minutes, sparkly-eyed on Redondo Beach. Incredible. And she shared much more about some healing she got from angels and so on. And a Dr. Reverend Julie Moret, who's on the Agape Spiritual International Board with Michael Bernard Beckwith, who was just up on Mount Everest base camp. She met her in her 20s, just having gone to Manhattan to do her first corporate job. She's very jittery about the whole listening thing and spirituality. Do I have any of these senses? Could I really do it? This angel visited her the first night. She made it a minute and then got jumpy. Then 2 minutes the next night, 5 minutes pretty soon after that. And then she finally just calmed down like driving a car. There's some point where you're jingling the keys, you just got your license, you're excited, you're letting everyone know. I call Manon, I'm like, Manon, I'm coming up there, I'm renting a car so I can drive you around. I'm 2 days into my license. 10 years later, I'm complaining about the traffic on an LA freeway, stuck, and I've never again jingled the keys and celebrated the ability to drive. There's something about being human that we just dampen a lot of stuff and we get excited about stuff, and you can have more of it all if you'll just let go. Back to the business here. What does she have as a reminder for us about the universe? How can we have our cake, eat it to no calories, and every cake equals a smile, and we can share those cakes with others?
Well, celebrate. It's like just celebrate everything. And my partner often says to me, but it hasn't happened yet. I said, it doesn't matter.
That's awesome. I'm going to do one more figure for you. It'll be Elvis. Red, white, or blue is your only choice you have to make here.
What is it? Red?
Red, white, or blue?
Blue.
Okay, and here's Elvis for you. Get something very personal. Hear him croon for you, get a compliment. Then you're coming back for the audience here. What is he sharing with you to share with the audience? But if you could close your eyes, breathe through your mouth, and let him be a young version of him crooning to you with angels doing backup singing. Let him give you a little mantra this way, point right at you. He was super spiritual, wanted to quit singing to do the spirituality thing. He loved it. Feel his vibe, get vibed up and down, and don't say I never did nothing for you on this show. But now, after you've gotten your personal bit of blue suede shoes, kidding, have something that he's sharing with us all as sort of a mantra to pass along, or a reminder to be all you can be, but that's not what he's saying. What'd you get?
It's, the words are failing me, but something about being. Yeah, it's like, you said something and then the words started coming. I'm just,
how to let go.
it doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You're doing it by being it.
And that's the real awakening is to, and I've had a quote that you mentioned, I think, treasure or finding yourself within. And here's a little quote from angels to buy us some time. Why is all of everything we're talking about a big deal for individuals again, all of us? When no ego is present, your heart and soul shine through your eyes. You are love. You sparkle. You are one with all and at peace with all. You are whole and content. Listening is opening the line of communication available to each human. Merely be still and listen. And by that way, that could be trees, leaves rustling, your pooch. You could even make it a soap opera if you really wanted to, but you do need to be in your heart or drink a Coca-Cola. Okay. Acknowledge and own the step. Move forward today. Just do it. This is a bit like a classic treasure hunt, but here you get to find yourself since you are the treasure. Do nothing, be, listen, learn, appreciate. This is not about any particular words or concepts. Grow your awareness, not your thinking. Be loved to all as often as possible, no more and no less. If you spent all your time being loved to all, you would have less time for ego or causing harm elsewhere. And I won't go on. That's from Listening to Angels. I never plugged this book on my show, and I should. I think I wrote it, but I didn't. I saw balls of light as I was typing. It was 100% Angels. If you think I wrote it, you're crazy. And if you know me, there's no way I could have written it. It's 2 times a #2 bestseller on Amazon, which there's no such thing. Everyone's a #1 bestseller. I'm a 2-time #2 bestseller. And Anita Morjani wrote a little review. It's $7.99 now. I asked for 10 years since 2014. When could I raise the price of the book? And I think it was the beginning of this year. It went from $4.99 up to $7.99. So it'll cost you a whole cup of Starbucks coffee, which, Manon, should we be drinking Starbucks coffee?
You really want me to
No, no,
answer?
no, 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 no. That's okay. But with Angel's help, you can drink that cup of coffee and be just fine. And I did ask the question of Charlotte when I saw her as a human in a Northwest. There's a lot of Starbucks in Austin, Texas. There she was in Santa Fe, New Mexico garb as a full-on human drinking coffee, staring at me nonstop when I'm meeting with my book editor for Glow Stick Zen. I asked her the important question, not who killed Kennedy, do aliens exist? Which, yes, we've got a lot of galactic beings that love us. I asked her, does she drink the coffee when she's here in human form? The answer was yes. Here, one last area for her and you to share with us, and you'll close us out. What's this all about again? Compassion, love, kindness, sparkle?
Consciousness.
Yes, but what has your experience been? You've had to go through decades, 30
Yeah.
years since you were 2. You've got that much experience now. Of consciousness, loving more and allowing more. You're shining more than I've ever seen you before shine. I love this. So what's this all about again? You're 32. You've had 30 years of consciousness experience since you were 2. What's this
Mm.
all about again?
I think loving what is, which is a Byron Katie statement, but it is, it's really about yeah, making peace with what you can't change or will not change. And that's one part of it. I'm not saying don't change, but just be who you are and be happy with that, I think expand it, but
That effectively creates all the change that we weren't trying to do at the beginning. By just being, you actually
it's
kind of sidestep the whole shebang of the knocking your head against a brick wall.
well, it's also starts with the heart, right? It's a different process than what should I be when I grow up, right?
Well, so can I do one final act of fun? We did the seeing energy thing. We did angels, obviously. Can I put my hand up in Texas? You put your hand up on the western side of Canada. You want to feel my energy, and then I'll wish you at least once or twice some rainbow light. Permission to do so? Okay.
Yes.
Only our highest intent, not the bill paying side or the fact that my fantasy football team lost last night, which it didn't, by the way. I'm now tied for first. I'm very excited. Just like drinking my Coca-Cola. Okay, here we go. Feel the vibe. What adjectives would you like to use? Electricity, sparkle, warmth, something?
Warmth.
Good. Now we're blaming angels. Never blame Canada. Ignore South Park. But I'm going to bring in rainbow light and whoosh it. It's all angels, really. You'll get it twice. Medium, low, and then go big, go home. You're already kind of home, hopefully. So go big. Here it comes. You'll feel it front, back, every which way, but loose. I keep doing movie references. Here it comes. Catch a little Hawaii in the air too. And if anybody likes Shakti Pot from India, have some of that. What do you get, Manol?
Hmm. I got a big wave.
Oh.
I feel like saying we're in the storm, but it's a good storm.
Aw.
It's like, yeah, that's where we are.
Okay, here comes the second one. Folks at home, just don't worry about it. Be in the heart and just let the universe do this. You're feeling something like you would when you see nature, a waterfall, a sunset, sunrise, whatever is your way of letting go. It's got to be your way. Here it comes. Catch a little sea spritz on your nose, a little Hawaii in the air. Was that a little bigger, different, a little more flowy?
It felt higher. It felt like we're not in it, but above it, almost like yeah.
Yay. Well, okay, you do get to close this out. You get a last reminder. Is it a mantra that you could fit on a t-shirt? Maybe you get the front and back of the t-shirt. What's the last bit of advice? You've had a lot of experience. You've taught so many other people, so much about, I'm not going to call it spirituality necessarily. Spirituality meets holistic, meets medicine, meets this, meets that. But it's tried and true. And the details will be below the video on this. So you've been around. And you yourself have continued to kind of evolve, expand, and learn. So, what's a final reminder about all of this for the audience, even if they're watching in 2030? It doesn't matter if you're in Germany, Tokyo, whatever. It is about the heart, less thinking and less what you think you know. It's Manon
Mm.
Bolliger, you're closing us out on angels, positivity, and love. What's the
Mm.
bit of
Well, I think a statement I came up with for a while ago, but it's still true. You know, how you live is how you heal. And so the focus is how do you want to live? Which I would include how do you want to be? What's the experience? And I think that when people want to heal, they think it's something separate, and it's not.
And only because we usually do this on the show. That was absolutely incredible, beautiful. I'm lighting some sage. You get to smell it in Canada or wherever you are, Germany, Christchurch, Mexico City. Doesn't matter what year it is. There's no time and space the way we think. Catch a little bit of sage. But if you want sage, flowers, and ocean, why not? There's no limits. Do it this way. What are you allowing for daily? Most of us, not much. It's rinse, repeat, and back to the rat race. And so a little less thinking, 7% less thinking a day. The blue ball light Charlotte says, what flip that pancake? That just means 7% in your heart daily. You can figure that out. There's a million ways to be in the heart. There's 40 million ways not to be in the heart. And only you can do the sorting out and do that treasure map thing. Okay, did you get the sage?
Oh,
You get any
wonderful.
flowers? What flowers did you get? Close your eyes if you haven't gotten the flowers yet. I'm just going to light a lighter for no reason whatsoever, but I distracted you. What flowers are you getting now? Ask all your angels to sock it to you. What flowers are you getting? Well,
Oh, oh, I don't know what they're called. They're little white ones.
oh, okay, good. Um, well,
Oh,
Manon Bolliger, you've been a fabulous guest. We did a very unorthodox approach to the show, but I think it was necessary to just show people that it's always bigger than we think it is because it's not about thinking, it's about the heart. And I think you were shining the whole time in your heart, meaning and intending the best for all of us.
well, thank you for having me. And yes, it was unusual, but I love experiences.
Oh,
So you
well,
you really provide an amazing framework for what
well,
is and what comes out. So thank you.
big hugs to you in Canada. I'm looking forward to seeing you again. And thank you truly, Manon, for being on the show.